Father Pat Garrett with us on this Monday morning. Finally, a little cool front this morning. This is a cause for celebration. Lots of celebration this weekend. Tossing aside the Texans' loss again, but Cardinal DiNardo here on Friday night of last week, and Father, and we've talked about it before. You talked about it in your homily on Sunday. I found it interesting that Cardinal DiNardo mentioned the fact that there is a concern among church leadership that the people might not come back or aren't coming back, aren't coming back the way that you expected after this pandemic or in these days of the pandemic. Let's talk about that this morning, because it also you talk a little bit about your homily as well.
Yeah, I think there's a growing concern on the part of church leadership. Certainly, I have that concern that there are so many obstacles to coming to Mass, and certainly for some, they still can't return to Mass. Others can return, but it's more difficult, right? We have to be more cautious in returning to Mass physically. I recognize that just watching the Mass on the internet, it can be difficult, distracting, and with the dispensation out there that you don't have to return to Mass, I worry that we'll become complacent about going to Mass. And I talked with the Cardinal when he was out here, right? Obviously, we need to keep that dispensation because there are a number of people out there who can't return to Mass right now, right? Who shouldn't. My mom still doesn't go to church, and so I can understand that there's a number of people out there, and so the dispensation needs to continue for them. But there's a number of people who could go to Mass who are getting out, who are going to the grocery store, who are going out and doing things outside, going to the malls, going to restaurants, going to things like that, but haven't yet returned to Mass. And it's those that I want to really encourage coming to Mass. My homily this weekend, I talked a little bit about how we need to invite those who are kind of falling away from going to Mass, invite them to attend church with us, to invite them to get involved in a small community or in a just sharing the faith, just clinging on to our faith in different ways. We had in the gospel this week the parable about the two sons. The first son, the father asked him to go out and work in the field, and he said no, but then changed his mind and went out and worked in the field. The second son, when the father asked him to work in the fields, immediately said yes, but then didn't go. And I said, we're all in danger of being like that second son. We're all in danger of saying, yes, Lord, I'll answer the call. But then when push comes to shove, when there's obstacles and all, we don't respond to them. And I said, what we need to do to keep from being like that second son is to reach out to the first son, to reach out to the one who says no. And so we all here who desire to actually go work in the fields, to invite those who have fallen away, invite those who are falling away, invite those who are reluctant to come back to Mass, who are reluctant to become part of a small community, reluctant to just share their faith, to just keep inviting them to join us in sharing our faith, join us at Mass, join us in our small communities.
I think in some ways, to me at least, with regard to work, I mean, sometimes you go on a vacation and you don't want to go back that first day because you think, oh, I'm going to be, burdened with work and everything. In some ways, being away from Mass for so long, for some people, it's like once they go back, they remember what it was all about and they remember the feeling that they got, but they don't really understand that until you actually go back. And then that's when it becomes easier, is that first time coming back.
Yeah. I actually, it's kind of interesting you bring that up. I've talked to people who have come to confession, right? Who, for whatever reason, the Holy Spirit moved them to make that first step back into the church. And when they did, it just opened up a whole new world to them. You know, it was just a whole new meaning, a whole new thing. And so they came to confession to just kind of reset things. It started them on a path of really growing in their faith. And so that's where, yeah, it's difficult a lot of times to take that first step, to take that challenge. But then once we do, you know, we can find so many blessings. And so that's why it's just so important that we do what we can to reach out to our neighbors, our friends, our loved ones, and just keep inviting them to take that first step to come back into the church. Mm-hmm.
This occurrence of the people not coming back as quickly as maybe they could, that's not something that could have been actually prepared for by the church, is it? I mean, you didn't know it was coming.
No, and nobody knew it was coming. Nobody knew, you know, and right now no one knows, right? I don't want to indict people who aren't coming back to church, right? I mean, it's a slippery slope, and we fall down that slope without even recognizing it, right? It's not intentional. That's what I was trying to say about that second son who said, yes, I'll go work in the field, and then didn't go work in the field. We have great intentions. We have good intentions to go to Mass. We have good intentions to be a good Catholic. We have good intentions to do these things. It's just particularly in this environment, with how difficult it is to do some of those things, you know, that we just start falling away, and we don't even notice that we're falling away, mm-hmm. Right? You know, so right now we need to reach out to each other, not, you know, we need to reach out to those that have truly fallen away from the church, and we always need to be reaching out to them. But right now we need to be reaching out to each other and encouraging each other through these difficult times to not just start going down that slippery slope. Mm-hmm.
Well, Pat, thanks again, as always, for your time on this Monday, and we will talk to you again soon.
All right. Right.
Thanks.